Alright, just starting off in the engine bay. Recently bare metaled the rocker cover, cap and side plates down here, and painted them Chevy orange, closest match I could to original Holden red. If you open the cap, just redid that seal so it doesn't leak, but inside there it's you can't really see, but it's not too black or gummy, it's or any excessive carbon build up. It's not too bad in there. Alright, we've got an electronic distributor here, was replaced too long ago. You can see it's pretty clean. I won't take the cap off because otherwise I have to reset the timing. We've got the old style Bosch ignition coil, which apparently they're a lot better and more reliable than the new stuff that comes out and seems to be going pretty right. I would, if I had time, just to redo this wiring just to make the clips a bit nicer and neater and put the ring terminals in a bit nice, but otherwise it works. You can see a little bit of weepage from the rocker cover. I think when they did the cam they had to reseal this, but they didn't quite get it 100%, so you can see a little bit of weepage around there. And the motor is just sort of as it is, you know, it hasn't really been wiped down a great deal, and apart from just, you know, the regular time. So, you know, I could have cleaned it up heaps and made it look $1 million, but that's as it is. We've got a A9X style overflow bottle with relatively green coolant in it, a relatively new washer bottle. It did leak out of the pump for a little bit, but it seems to have corrected itself. Like you can see there's a bit of water in there and there's not really leaking anymore, but sometimes you see outside the pump it just dribbles down. But yeah, either a new pump, you can buy them for about $30 or it might be worthwhile to change over. Apart from that, all the electrics are all, you know, sort of stock. You can see the horn relay and stuff like that, high beam relay. Yeah, stock master cylinder and booster, you know, with all the proportional valve and stuff like that. This is the LPG system. It's got this is the locking solenoid converter, and there's another locking solenoid in the back for starting. Inco 300A with a Redline Talker 2 manifold. Pretty much it runs alright. The only thing is when it's cold, you just got to give it a little bit of throttle. It doesn't have a choke, so you just got to keep the throttle in until it warms up, and then you can let go of the pedal and it'll idle. You know, this hasn't been tampered or some people paint over these things, but yeah, it's original fan motor and stuff like that. This is the battery, you know, holds charge, all that sort of stuff. We've got a Commodore radiator, unknown which one it's from, but you've got two 15-inch thermos, and this is the thermo controller, the temperature controller, and then you've got two relays down here. So each fan's wired independently, so if one fails the other one will keep running, so you can get home until figure it out, all that sort of stuff. You know, relatively clean oil. You know, at the moment with the new filter it's probably only done about 400 k's on the new oil. Alright, that's the engine bay. Like standing from a distance and on camera it looks $1 million. But as I was mentioning before, if you come right up close you can see just these little flaky bits in the paint. So that's the size of my hand, and you know, these little flaky bits. So you know, if you look up close it's going to be like that. Otherwise from a distance, you know, it genuinely looks about that. Front bar, the chrome's in okay condition. I mean, you can see there. The only thing that's wrong with the front bar is that my dad reversed into it and he just pushed it back a little bit. You can see a small buckle there, and there. Then this is pushed forward, so that just needs to be pulled out or pressed out, or you can just leave it as is. You know, you sort of really don't notice it unless you really look at it. There's a couple of these little stone chip guys on the front nose cone. It's probably the worst of the paint is on the nose cone. You can see these little stone chips that come out. You can see there. Whether you just get a tin of mint julep and then just go over the top of them just to clean them up, just make them look not as obvious, but I mean, it's really depending on how far you want to go. If you want to respray the nose cone, up to you. There we go. coming around the side of the car, front windshield, looks in great nick. Replaced the locking strip. So that's all looking nice and new and chromy. Same with the chrome strip on the side. This guy here is not too bad at all. So it's just the standard S. Alright, opening up the car. Right, we got a new driver's side door seal. I think all the doors are original, but I think this one is been replaced at some stage. I don't know why, but that's what it is. Door trims are in pretty good condition. The only blemishes, this is probably the worst of the lot. You can see these little marks here. This is when the belt gets caught between the door and the body when you close the front door, and you get these little guys here. I mean, it's not too bad. But the rest of the door trims, as you can probably see, they're in pretty good condition for their age. Same with the headlining. Headlining's not too bad. And there's the mirrors there too. So these are the original seats. So they've copped a bit of sun damage over the time that you can see underneath. There's sort of split marks in them and stuff like that. Sort of covered up the seat covers and put things on top. They'll either need a replacement or a retrim. Got UC scuff plates, so they're relatively nice and polished. So they're stainless, so they're correct. Well, the original ones are zinc, but I think I like this finish on the UC ones with the stainless. We've got a S cluster. Oh, on the light. There we go. S cluster. The SLR steering wheel. And we got. Let's get that light up. There we go. Yeah, then we got the head unit over there, and then the dash pad and dash are in relatively good condition. So sometimes you get a lot of cracks in these sort of things. Yeah, this one's not too bad. Carpet's in pretty good condition, I would say. Very nice and vacuumed and new. Speakers underneath the H pillars. Okay, outside. Back seat. And parcel shelf. See if we get a better shot. There we go. Yeah, the rear bar's in relatively pretty good condition, I'd say. You can see the chrome's nice on it. No pitting or any fading. It's pretty good condition. I was pretty happy with that. I think you probably replace the bolts on this and clean that up a bit. It would look nice. In terms of dents around the car, I mean it's pretty straight. Like, it's a great shell. There's this one scratch there. It needs a bit of touch-up paint. And a light buff. No real trolley dings or that would be of concern. Again, as I said, the reason why I think this door's been replaced, you can see there's a little blemish there. I think what they've done is they've just painted over a different door, or they haven't prepped it right. But might be worth cleaning that up. But again, from a distance, you sort of really can't see it unless you really look at it. Where are we? Opening up the boot. Okay, out. Alright, the boot is as I haven't had a chance to really clean it, but see there's a bit of dirt in there and stuff like that needs to be cleaned out. But the tank sort of sits just forward of the edge of the opening. You know, get a bit of stuff in there. It's not really too much of a heat hitting the boot. But certainly the valley from under is there with the gas. There we go. Alright. Starting up the car. See how she goes. So it starts up straight away. And because it's cold and it hasn't really been run, you know, you have to keep a little bit of throttle on it or it stalls. But the thing about wiring in a hand throttle here, you just pull this a little bit out, and then you can get that idle set a little bit higher, and then when it gets warm you just push it straight back in. But that'd be a good little idea to do if it hasn't been done yet. Otherwise you just keep a little bit of throttle on it and drive it. There you go. Here's a manual temp, analog temp gauge. So there's no electronics in this, it just sort of runs to the head and then it shows you the temperature. So even after you switch the engine off, it's just a spring that loses tension with heat. So got one of those. The wheels. Yeah, don't know if they're HK or not, but they've got the cooling slots in them. But they're just painted black stockies with their GDR center caps. And the original owner said these ones are original center caps too. There you go.